Okay, let me start sharing the screen. Please let me know once the screen is visible to you all.
Yeah, it
Screen is
is.
visible, right? Yeah, okay. So, till now, in last two classes, what we have discussed as far as the BI development is concerned is we discussed on what the BI actually is, the business intelligence. Then we discussed on uh, what is the I mean, general layout of the BI development that happens across various organizations. Okay, and we discussed on what is Power BI, how it's not a single tool, but it's a stack of components, and we looked into how to bring the data from different sources into Power BI, and also we looked into different storage modes of Power BI in the last class, namely import mode, then direct query mode, live connection, as well as the composite mode. Okay, so today let's start with the introduction to the main ETL tool that is existing within Power BI, which is called as Power Query Editor, and we'll try to understand how to transform the data we get into Power BI by using Power Query Editor. Okay, so once you open the Power BI, once you click on the start and then search for the Power BI desktop that is installed within system, and after double clicking on it, this Power BI window will open. Okay, and before we go on to do our Power Query Editor exercises, what we will do is we will change some options and settings here. Okay, so first of all, you need to do this before starting the classwork. Okay, once you start working on your own, so we need to go to files, then options and settings, and then options, and then in options there are mainly two things. One is the global tab of options, and then there is second one, the current file tab of options. Okay, so in global tab, okay, here in the regional settings, so regional settings, that is this, what we will do is this we have to set it to English US, and this as well. The region and the language we will set it to English US. Okay, and then under the data load tab of global settings, okay, what we will do is the type detection, this one, we will set it to never detect the column types and headers for unstructured sources. Okay, and yeah, that's what we'll do. And also, one more thing that we'll do is we'll clear the cache memory, which goes on gathering once you start working on Power BI. Okay, so this is what we'll do. Okay, and then in the current file section, okay, in the current file section under the data load, okay, we will unselect this. Okay, import relationships, we will unselect this, as well as we will unselect the auto detect new relationships. Okay, and as far as the regional settings is concerned, we'll make sure that this again is set to United States, English United States. So once that is done, we'll click on OK. Fine, and then we'll start bringing the files into the Power BI desktop, and we'll start transforming it in Power Query Editor. So I'll go to Home tab first, and then I'll go to Get Data, and then the first thing I'm trying to bring in is a CSV file. Okay, CSV file from this particular folder. It's called Orders 2017. I'll open that, and once I do that, a new window will open. Okay, and now see, it gives you the preview of the file that you're going to work on. Okay. And yesterday, while bringing the data from the different sources, I told you that you can either opt to load this data directly into Power BI Desktop, or you can click on transform data and go to Power Query editor to clean the file or transform the file. Now, my question to you guys is, if you look into the preview of this file, do you think it do you think that it is ready to work or it needs a bit of transformation or cleaning? Yes?
No, it's not
See,
correct.
Yeah. It needs lots of transformation, right? So what we'll do is we'll click on transform data, which will open a new window altogether, and this window is called Power Query Editor, which is mentioned in the top left of this window. Okay, now let me show you. This altogether is the second window that has been opened. Okay, it's not the Power BI desktop, it's the ETL tool within Power BI desktop, which is named as Power Query Editor. Now, I am saying ETL tool, but this ETL tool is not as capable as the some of the dedicated ETL tools like, let's say, Informatica or maybe Azure Data Factory. Okay, but still you can perform some sort of ETL in this as well without any problem. Okay, so this is the file that we have got here. Okay, now, let me just give you the brief introduction to this graphical user interface of Power Query Editor. In Power Query Editor, the one thing which you're seeing here in the center is your table itself. Then, on the left-hand side, you are seeing the table name. Okay, and then on the right-hand side or the right pane, what you will see is the steps that you apply for transformations as you go on working on this file. You'll come to know it once we start working on this. Don't worry about it right away. Okay. Then, as far as the different tabs are concerned, it has Home tab, then Transform tab, then Add Column tab, View tab, Tools tab, and Help tab. Okay. So, yeah, we'll use most of these tabs to transform the data itself. So that's what we are going to do. Okay. So now, once you look into this particular file, what do you think is the first thing that needs to be done in this? Yes.
rename the headers column 1, column 2, column 3.
Rename the header, or do you think there is particular record or there is particular row which themselves are the headers in this? Check properly.
I think the
Remove.
row 5 having that all the details.
Yeah, the row 5, if you look at it, order ID, prod ID, miscellaneous details, store ID, order date, sales quantity, and maybe the stock price. All these are nothing but the headers themselves, right? So we need to make sure that the header, that is row number 5, comes into here as a header. But before that, we need to delete certain rows, right? How many rows we need to delete? One, two, three, four. These four rows we don't need, and this row after that we'll make it as a header. Okay. So the way to do that is in the Home tab, we have the option to remove rows. I'll click on the drop down of that. Okay. And under this, we have the option for removing top rows. I'll click on that. And once I do that, I have this new window asking me how many number of rows to be removed from the top. And the answer for this should be yes, 4. Okay. So I'll click on OK. And now you see everything which was above it or above this row has been removed. Okay. So we need to remove the top rows. Now you see at the right side pane, that step has got added here as one particular transformation step. Can you see this? And it clearly says removed top rows. Okay. And the thing is that you can even rename these steps as well. Okay. Let's say if you want to rename it and you want to mention the specific things, you can even do that. I'll say remove top 4 rows. That's it. Okay. And whenever you go to any particular step, it will show you the data preview of that particular step. Let me tell you later what I'm talking about. But next thing, what we need to do here is we need to make sure that this first row becomes the header. So for that, we have the option here. You can see this, use first row as headers. Okay. And once I click onto this, Now you see the first row actually has become the header. Any doubt till now, people? Yes? Okay. Now,
Hello.
yes, go ahead.
Whatever we are doing here, this is the Power Query tool, right?
Power Query Editor. Yeah,
Power Query Editor. Okay.
yes. Yeah. Okay. Now, here you see, once we did the second transformation, that is, we used first row as headers, that also has gotten added here as the next transformation step. Okay. And now, let's say if you go to the first step, you will see the data how it was in the first step, right? And once you go to this, you will see the data how it was in the second step. Then if you go to this, you will see how the data becomes after this third step. Okay, yeah, so that's what it is. And yeah, one more thing I need to mention: whenever you do the transformations, okay, whenever you operate in Power Query Editor to do some transformations, you make sure that this thing, the column profiling based on, by default it is set to top 1,000 rows, but you make sure that you convert it to this column profiling based on entire data set. Okay, I'll tell you the reason why. Okay, because if you perform certain steps here, and if it is only for top 1,000 rows, then what happens is in this preview it gets performed on only top 1,000 rows, and only once you press close and apply, it will try performing that whole step on the whole data set. And if there is any error, you'll get to know the error only once you press close and apply, if you set it to top 1,000. So my request to you is, uh, make sure that you have set it to column profiling based on the entire data set. Okay, so after this, what do you think that needs to be done next for this? Yes, does this look completely clean or still not?
We need to remove the blanks.
We need to remove the blank records from this, right? We need to remove the blank records. Now, you see there are completely blank rows in this. Okay, so we need to remove them. So what I'll do, I'll just go to remove rows again, and I'll go to remove blank rows, as simple as that. And now you see the rows which were completely blank. And when I say completely blank, what I mean is their values were blank in each and every column. Only such rows are removed. Getting the point? Because if you see, there are certain blanks here in this column and this column. Those will not be removed because for those records, there are values in other columns. So whenever you select this, that is remove blank rows, what happens is that the rows which are completely blank with respect to all the columns, they get removed. Hope this point is clear with everyone. Okay, fine. Now, yes, what next? Yes, think.
We
We need
have
to
to
remove the
Remove
duplicates.
duplicates, yeah.
We do have the duplicates, okay, and importantly, we do have duplicates where we do have duplicates in the order ID. Now, let me just tell you the basic about this data first. Okay, if you just look at this table, that is the order ID, product ID, miscellaneous details, store detail, and order date, sales quantity, revenue. So basically, if you just have a look at it, you will come to know that this is a basically a table which is giving you the description of certain transactions that have been happened. Okay, and the order ID is the primary key for the transaction. Now, I hope all of you know what is meant by primary key. Yes or no? I mean, if you don't know, please say it, say that. That's not a problem at all.
I know, but could you please explain it? I think it's based on unique like IDs.
Yes. Look, the thing is that the transaction, okay, for every transaction, there'll be a specific number which can be used to identify that transaction. Okay. means, let's say if I say order ID 1, and if I put in computer order ID 1, what details I'll get is the all these details, like in which store it happened, that is the store ID, on which date it happened, on I mean, how much was the sales quantity? What was the revenue generated from that order? What was the stock that was sold? What is the price, total price? Okay, so all these details. So the primary key is what we can call as a unique identifier. Okay, the primary key is the unique identifier for this table basically. Okay, now there are certain unique there are certain constraints for primary key. See, the primary key should not be having blank values or NA values like this what we have here. And one more thing is that the primary key should always be having unique values. It should not be having any duplicates in that. Hope it is clear with everyone. Yes or
Yes.
no? Okay.
Yes.
Now, so first things first, we'll try to remove the NA values. Okay. So what we'll do is first we'll try to remove the NA values, and then we'll try to remove the duplicates as well. Okay. Now, as far as NA values, okay, you need to make sure that, let's say if it's NA here, is it NA everywhere or only the primary key is not mentioned? Because let's say it has NA as the order IDs, but if it has records in terms of sales orders and quantities sold, everything, all that sort, then it means that somebody from the database side or maybe the end user side, they have forgot entering the order ID, or somehow the order ID was not generated for these two orders. In that case, what you need to do, you need to connect with the backend engineer or the data engineer or the database team, and you need to tell them that these particular transaction details are there, but the order IDs are not there. Kindly have a look at it. Okay, you cannot delete certain data just for the sake of it. Just because you think that the data is not right. Whenever you delete something, you have to connect with the backend team. Only if it is completely NA, then you can delete it. Else, you have to always get connected with the backend team. Hope I'm clear with this. Is it clear, people?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now,
So you are saying that if there is NA, not just
mm,
in order ID, but in every column, like the second and third,
mm, mm,
not even in second, because miscellaneous detail is
mm,
blank.
yeah.
So if it's there in every column NA, then we need to connect with the backend team.
No, no, no. I mean, if the NA is everywhere, then you can certainly delete it, right? I mean, there's no use for such record.
But
What
but
I'm
if it's
saying
there in
is,
some columns and if it's not there in other columns,
exactly, if some columns have the legit data, then you need to connect with the backend, is what I'm telling you. Clear? Okay. So now, here, if you look at this, the NA values which are here are having either NAs or blanks in the rest of the columns as well. So we can remove that. Okay. And the way to do it is we'll just click on the drop down, which is there on the order ID column. Okay. And there, what we'll do is we'll search for, we'll first click on load more data. Okay. And if we go till the end, there will be NA. Okay. And we will unselect the NAs. Okay. We'll unselect the NAs, and by that we are making sure that we are filtering out the NA values. And if we click on OK, that's it. It won't be having the NA values now. Okay. And here, this particular NA is still there, but it is it doesn't have the NAs here, so that doesn't matter. Okay. So we have removed NAs only from this column, but in that process, it removed those records from the rest of the columns as well. Okay. So that is fine. So we remove the NA values. Now the next thing that we need to do here is, as you guys said earlier, is to remove the duplicate records. Okay, and if you look at this, we do have the duplicate records here. That is, if you look at row number 3, the order ID 333, and then for this the prod ID is also the same. For this miscellaneous detail doesn't make sense. This also is same is with order date, same is with the sales quantity, and then these three things, this thing. So basically that those are nothing but the duplicate records, and we need to remove the duplicate records. And the way to do it is again very simple: go to remove those and then remove duplicates. That's it, and then the duplicates will be gone. Okay, and now you see, parallelly, as we are, I mean, as we go on doing the transformations here, the same things will be recorded in this transformation applied steps pane as well. Okay, so yeah, so this is what it is.
So in removing the NAs, where we
Mhm.
had just removed the NAs from the order ID, okay. So what
Mhm.
if those NAs have also been removed where there were some values and where there were, because we have just put filter on order ID, right?
Right.
S- So in doing that, we have also
Mhm.
removed, I mean, NAs where there were some NAs and where there were no NAs.
Let me show you. Okay, let me go back to that step.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one. Okay, so here, if you see these NAs which are here, the corresponding values are also NAs or either blank in this. Okay, if you see this, there are no legit values, so that's the reason they are being removed. Clear?
Yeah. So, okay. So we will always get this kind of data set where,
No, you will not. Okay, see, to be frank, let me tell you, whenever you're working in any Power BI project in any particular organization, the first thing is that you will never get the data which is uh, like this. Okay, you will usually be supplied the data from the backend team. Okay, and that data will usually be clean data. Okay, it will be structured data. All you need to do is maybe you need to write some SQL queries to get the view that you want. Okay, so that is the first thing. However, you might come across mm, some, let's say, small projects wherein they will supply you some Excel sheets and maybe CSVs, and that's when you need to apply some of the Power Query editing steps to transform this kind of data. Yeah, so that's the thing. But however, whatever it is, in order ID, if there are NAs, then you need to connect with the guys who provided you the data. There's no two thoughts about it. I mean, here I'm deleting it only due to the fact that the rest of the values are also NAs for these two records. But however, if they are not, then you definitely need to connect with the backend or the business team who is providing you the data. That's for sure. Clear?
Ron, I'm not clear here. So as you say, if we are selecting an A in order ID, then if we have any values, we can't. I mean, if this is a small database, we can say it here. But if
Mhm.
what if it is a large database, we are receiving for the multiple things, we can't check all those things, right?
See, you can check the values. You can check the distinct values here. Okay, so I mean, if there are any NAs or basically any string characters, those will be listed in the end. Okay, and one more thing, if there are any blanks, those will be listed at the start. Okay, so if you look at this panel, I mean, this will not show you all the mm, values, but all the distinct values it will definitely show you.
Yeah, I agree. So it is showing only the district value. I agree with you. So, but
Mhm.
if you're putting the filter in order ID only. But what if any
Mhm.
values it is placed in order date or sales quantity or store ID maybe? So how we are going to identify it?
Okay, let me just come back to that. Look here. So here, if let's say, if you want to check that, right? So what can be done? I'll just select these NA values. Okay, and now you see we have only NAs. You check on the rest of the columns, and if there are any useful values, then you can connect with the backend. Else, you can simply delete the NAs.
I'm just asking, like, so
Hmm.
in this case, it's fine. We are
Hmm.
deleting these things, right?
Okay.
So if we are selecting the NA in order ID, then
Uh-huh.
if there is any value, then we need to connect with the respective team, right? I mean, we need to check
Correct.
all those things manually.
Yes. Yes. That's true. Yeah. You have to. I
Hello.
mean, yes. Go ahead.
Hello.
Yes. Yeah. Please go ahead and ask the question. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I myself is not convinced with the, I might be I'm not able to understand. So
Mhm.
it is mandatory for each and every time if null values we are filtering on order ID and if actual values are present in some other column. So every time we have to connect with the backend. Is it what you are saying? So there is no such alternative option for the Power BI developer. So we cannot do any query. I mean, we cannot run any query, or there is no any alternate option in the Power BI.
See, alternate option in. I mean, first question is what do you exactly want to do? I mean, by alternate option, what? I mean, what are you trying to
I'm
exactly do here?
I'm still sticking to I'm still sticking to the question which Purva asked. If order ID
Mhm.
is NA and
Mhm.
if some store ID order date is present with the actual values, and we are
Mhm.
simply filtering the NA in the order ID, so that row will be gone.
Mhm.
Okay. So
Okay.
what we have to do with the actual values? Now I want that order ID with NA, but I want to see those actual values also. So how to filter that data?
Okay. See, I'm still not getting the question. Let's say if you have the NAs in the order ID, and let's say if you have the values in the other columns, is your question that how you will be able to see these other values?
No, no. Okay.
Then,
Now if you are simply filtering NA in the order ID. Okay.
okay.
And
Uh-huh.
we are removing that. Okay.
Okay. Uh-huh.
So now my question is, if second row NA order ID is there, but store ID is some actual value. Okay.
Okay.
And
Uh-huh.
I don't want to filter that NA with the actual value.
Yeah, you
Or,
don't want this record to get filtered, right?
huh,
That's what you're
yes,
saying? Yeah. Okay.
yes. So
Uh-huh.
how to do that?
How to look, the thing is here you are manually filtering the any values. Agree? Okay. Now the thing is that if you see that there are some legit records with respect to other columns in here, okay, then it is, I mean, it's clear that someone has missed on entering the order ID, or maybe it has not generated from the system. You can't do anything in that scenario but do connect with the backend because so look, as you work as a Power BI developer or a data analyst, I mean, you cannot, I mean, neglect the particular record because it is generating some business, right? So that's the reason I'm saying you have to connect with the backend and make sure that whether it's an actually legit record or can it be neglected. So that's the reason I'm telling you. I mean, even if I want to, I cannot decide on to neglect this or not. Hope you're clear.
Okay, so basically you are trying to say that every time we have to connect with the backend team for such records. We cannot do anything, or there is no such alternative option for the Power BI developer
See,
to do with this.
look, the thing is, you can, I mean, I'm not saying that you don't have the option. If you want, you can delete those records. But doing that will not be correct as far as BI development is concerned. The reason for that is if that is a particular legit record, then you are simply missing one legit record from the whole business, which is not correct, is what I'm saying. Okay. So whenever you find some records, as I mentioned in this example, you have to, I mean, you have to connect with the backend to make sure that that record is undesirable. Hope I'm clear now.
Pawan, like
Mhm.
another question, like so usually what we are doing in Excel, like we can concatenate all those
Mhm.
things and we'll get the unique values, right? Maybe we can remove the duplicate values as well. Okay, as here, is there is any chance for that thing like concatenate in Excel so that we can get the unique values, right? We can make the decision along this thing.
Yeah, see, actually I'm coming to all those points. See, there is a thing called as making indexing. Okay, creating index columns, which does the same thing which you mentioned. That is creating the unique values. It does that. Okay, but we are coming to that. We are. If I do that right away, then I'll be getting far away ahead of myself. Okay,
Okay, fine.
so right now I'm just, I mean, we are dealing with cleaning the data, and yeah. So that option is there in Power BI as well, which you mentioned, creating unique records, which we can certainly do. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I think. It will be. I think it will replace these things, right? I mean, these questions.
See, the thing is that if I go to this option, that is add column in this right away, the thing is I'll have to cover column from examples, custom columns. I mean, it'll be like
I
random.
agree. Agree.
Yeah.
Agree with you.
Okay.
Yeah. Fine.
So I cannot go ahead of myself. So I have to go with the home tab, then transform tab, then add column tab, so that you will learn each and everything in an organized manner, and not. I mean, you will not feel like you're learning. I mean, learning some random stuff. So
Okay, fine.
that's the reason uh, I'm keeping it for later. The indexing of columns. Okay. So, but right now, to answer this question, yes. I mean, if you find that certain columns, I mean, only certain columns have the missing values, rest of the columns have the legit values. I mean, you can only connect with the business to have the proper answers for that. I mean, you cannot decide for yourself whether to, I mean, completely neglect that record. So that's the honest answer. Because in my experience, I mean, I have never come across the situation where they have told me you can delete these records. I mean, that, I mean, even if there are legit values. So yeah. Any more doubt in this particular step? Okay, fine. So we'll go ahead to this step. Okay. And yeah, let me show you one more important thing. And this thing will help you analyze the columns a bit instead of considering the whole number of values. Okay. So there's a thing called as column profiling. Okay. So you can have a preview of each and every column in terms of what kind of data it has, and certain mathematical aspects as well, mathematical and statistical aspects as well. So the thing is that if you go to the view tab, okay, and there are three things in here. If you click on first thing, I mean, once you select any particular column, and if you select on the column quality, okay, now you see at the top of the column, you have certain things which are mentioned. How many valid values are there? Are there any errors in the column? And are there any blanks in the column, the empty values percentage? Why I'm saying is, as you mentioned, if the data is huge, I mean, if the number of mm, records are in terms of millions, I mean, even then you can search those blanks in here. But nonetheless, if you just want to see if there are blanks, then definitely you can see it in this case. Okay. Now you see in the prod ID column, there are certain empty values, but they are less than 1% is what it's mentioning. Okay. In miscellaneous column, there are 99% of values which are blanks. Okay. So this information you will get in the view tab if you click on column quality. Okay. Then there is one more thing which is called column distribution. If I click on that, you will see how many values, I mean, in each column, how many values are distinct and how many values are unique. Okay. And I hope you guys know what is the difference between the distinct values and unique values. Yes or no?
No.
No.
Okay. I'll just I'll just open the Google sheet, I think. maybe. Okay, I'll try showing that in terms of. Okay.
Avan, just a question. Are you based in USA?
No.
Okay, because this is the time of the class, so I thought, I mean, 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. now. So,
No, I mean, later my work starts as well, right? So
all right, yeah, yeah.
it goes on till almost late at night. So
Okay.
this is my preferred timing. Yeah. Okay. So we were talking about the unique values and distinct values. Okay. So let's say we have two columns basically. Let's say user ID. Okay. Control C, Control V. Okay. Now in this, let's say we have certain numbers, maybe 10, 11, 12, and then again 12, 13, then 14, then 14. Okay. Now, first question first. How many distinct records are there in this? Yes.
Five.
One, two, then three, four, five. Right? Five distinct records are there. Means five different records are there. Okay. Okay. Then, how many unique records are there in this? What I mean is, how many records are there whose occurrence is only once?
Two. Three, sorry, three.
Come again. This, and this. I mean, this, and this. 10, 11, and 13. Right? Whereas 12 and 14, they occur twice. So the unique values are how many? Three unique values. I hope everyone got the concept of this, the distinct values and unique values.
Yes.
Okay, fine. So that's what Power BI means when it says among all the values, there are these many distinct values and there are these many, sorry for that, unique values. Okay, so this information you will get in the column distribution, and there's one more important thing, that is column profile. When you click on column profile, you'll get the column statistics. Now the statistics in the sense, the count of total number of values, then how many empty values are there, how many error values are there, how many distinct values are there, unique values are there. And it also gives you the account of certain statistical aspects like minimum, maximum, average, median, and even the standard deviation value if that particular column is of the number type. But the thing is, we still have not converted these column types into various data types. So right now it is not showing in that way. Okay, but it will show up once we establish the data types. Okay, so getting back to this, I'll just undo
Which
this.
column statistics was it showing? I mean, it was taking order ID.
Yeah, it was showing order IDs. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, if you still see here, the order ID is not a number. It is taking it as a string, because you see the ABC, okay, these, I mean, this ABC, these are nothing but the type of data or the data types which the column has. Okay. So right now everything is set as a string data type. Okay, but we can change it. Fine. So once we are done with uh, cleaning this, that is, we cleared it of the duplicate values, then we cleared it of the blank, and then also the NAs. Next thing what we'll do is we'll remove certain columns which are certainly of no use to us. Okay. So if you look at this particular column, it only has the values which are either blanks or NAs or nulls. So this column is certainly not needed. This can be removed. And then let's try to figure out if there are more such columns which can be removed. Okay. So uh, if I go here, the price column has values, the promotion type column has values, this bin has values, then what about this bin to and discount? If I look at the values which are there in this, again, this also has either blanks or NAs, certainly makes this column useless one. And we'll look into the discount column. Here again, it either has blank values or NAs. So this also can be removed. Okay. So we'll there are different ways in which you can remove the columns. Okay. One way is you just simply click on this and you just right click on this and remove this column. Okay, as simple as that. The other way is, look, there is option called as choose columns. Okay, and here under choose column there is a drop down. Okay, and there if you select this one, that is choose columns, you can only choose the columns that you want to keep in this data set. Okay, and I certainly did not want the bin to as well as discount. So if I unselect it from here, those columns will be deleted as well. You see. So the thing is that in Power BI, usually you will come across the scenario that to do the same thing, there are different options in Power BI. Okay. So yeah, this is one way to remove, or you can even go here and choose the column. And there's another way, basically, I mean, instead of right clicking, if you select the column and if you click on remove that column will be removed. That also is another way. Okay. So yeah, this is how we remove the column. And there's one more thing to be noted. Let's say your table, it consists of, let's say, 20-30 columns. Okay, or maybe sometimes even 30-40 columns, and you are finding it hard to identify one particular column that you're looking for. Okay, you are not able to find that particular column, and you are trying to slide it from here and there, and you kind of are feeling that it's hard to find that column name. Then what you can do, you can again click on choose columns drop down, and then you can click on go to column, and here you will see those columns names as list of names. And if you click on any particular column name, let's say for example delivery date, or maybe the stock, okay, and click on OK, now you see that particular column will be highlighted. Hope this point is clear, people.
Can you show it again?
Yeah, let's say if I want to go to a particular column, I'll go to choose column, then go to column. Let's say I want to go to the promotion type 2 column. I'll click on this, click on OK. It will lead me to that particular column. Okay. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Fine. And now, if you see, there's one more problem with this data set. That is, if you look at the order IDs number 26 and 28, okay, the thing is that order ID number 26 has all the blank values as far as other columns are concerned. Okay. And same is the case with 28 order number. 28 order number has all the values as NAs as far as rest of the columns are concerned. So what we can do again is we can certainly get rid of these two records. And the way to do that is, again, you can definitely search that in here, 26. So you see 26, I'm unselecting, and again I'll click search for 28 now. and 28 again I can unselect. So both of them I'm unselecting so that those can get filtered up. Okay, so yeah, this is how we clean this data. And the next thing that we
Can
need
we
to do.
do this 26 and 28 removal from above remove rows, just like we did for choose columns? Okay, is there any option on
No, there's no. See, under remove rows, you have these options. You can either
okay.
remove rows from the top, you can remove the rows from the bottom, you can remove the alternate rows. Okay, you can remove the duplicates, you can remove the blank rows, or you can remove the rows with errors. But you cannot remove the specific rows like you do in Excel. Okay, row level operations are not available for this, or cell level operations are not available for this. For example, in Excel, you can simply click on this and you can delete that particular record, right? That cannot be done in Power BI. Hope I'm clear on that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Pawan,
So
I have a doubt actually.
yes.
Sorry to stop you. Like in this all those scenarios, right? Like this is
Mhm.
the small data. Again, I'm coming to the same point. Like if we are having a big data, like we are having 10,000 rows or something else, and
Mhm.
even the columns are else, around 100 or 200. So
Mhm.
we need to check all those columns individually, right? I mean, is there is
Yes,
any option
we
to
have to.
identify? I mean,
uh,
like if we can say like around the 30 columns or 30, 40 columns or blanks,
mhm.
completely blanks or having NAs, right?
Mhm.
How to identify those things on the single click or
See,
something else? Is there anything?
first of all, you can switch this column quality as on, and in one stretch, you can look at the column values of every column. Basically, if it has blanks or errors, it will definitely show up. Okay. However, if there are have I mean if they are having the NA values and all, I mean I agree those are hard to find, but nonetheless, if you are going to do the complete ETL work for this, then you have to go column by column, search for those NA values, or I mean if you go till the end, you will have then the string values. If there are string values, it will show up in the end, and if there are blanks, it will show up at the top for each of the column. So you can figure them out. I mean, if there are any blanks, can they be neglected or they have to be removed? You can just go column by column and you can see that. Yeah, that is the way to do. There's no other way in Power BI. Yeah.
I have one more question. I was about
Mhm.
asking the same question which he has asked. But see, in live project, we are dealing with the thousand and million records. Okay, so it
Mhm.
is. I find right now what I feel ki it is very difficult to clean the data in the Power BI tool. So can you answer for that? Ki it is very difficult to clean the data in Power BI, or we have to ask every time we have to connect with the backend team to clean the data and then get that data from the DB and then we have to work. Because see, million of data, it is very difficult to search each and every column with the nulls, not application, and there are very other scenarios as well. So right now, what as
Mhm.
per my short knowledge, what I'm thinking ki it is very difficult to clean the data in the Power BI.
See, one thing is there. Power BI does not have the capabilities like certain ETL tools have. That is for sure. You can do certain amount of cleaning here, but Power BI is not a dedicated ETL tool. Okay, so that is there. I mean, what is there is there. I mean, we cannot uh, do the whole lot of ETL in this, and that's the reason there are certain dedicated ETL tools which are there. Okay, so usually what happens in the project is, I'm again repeating myself, but this has to be told clearly, because the thing is, in live projects you usually will not get this sort of data, and they will not ask you to clean this sort of data in Power BI itself and do the work. Let's say if the data is in this form. Okay, how the project goes on is, this will first be passed on to DBs or data engineers, who apparently will clean that in dedicated ETL tools, and they will create clean views. Okay, and you usually will get the data from some DB management systems, or maybe the RDBMS. Okay, usually it'll be something like SQL, or maybe Snowflake, or maybe Denodo, or in some cases Azure Snaps Data Lake. So you will fetch the clean data from those versions. Okay, the reason we are learning Power Query Editor is that in case you don't get the clean data, okay, so which is not a regular occurrence. Okay, it in rare cases you will get unclean data in Power BI, and in that case, how you can clean data is what I'm trying to convey. That's the only thing. Okay.
Okay, as per my understanding, like it's very rare case. I mean, it's an exception scenarios. We are not
Yes, that's
getting
true. So
should
the
be
thing
here.
is, Power Query Editor, again, I'm saying it's not a dedicated ETL tool, and it has not high capabilities like certain tools like Azure Informatica and all. Usually, the work which we are doing right now, it kind of resembles the data engineer's work, but that usually doesn't happen in Power BI. You will get the clean views. All you need to do is to fetch the data, you need to write the SQL queries to make the give, I mean, to get the particular form of table that you need from the existing views, which are already created by data engineers. Okay. So that's what it is. Yeah. Hope that makes it clear.
Yes.
Okay. But yeah, I'm again saying in one or two cases, you might come across the scenarios where, like, let's say, last time I did this kind of work was 2 years back when one of my managers, he gave me one small project where he himself was giving me the data, and then I was supposed to clean it, but still it was not as unclean as this data. Okay, he was giving me the data. I used to perform some works, and I directly used to work on Excel file. But in more than 95% of cases, you will be working on the data which will be coming from some uh, RDBMS. Okay, not like this. Okay, but nonetheless, it is important for us to understand these steps, because in case we need to do some cleaning or some minimal cleaning in Power BI as well, we should be able to know how to do that. So that's the reason we are running Power Query Editor. Hope that makes it clear.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
fine. So I think we have passed our time today. So
Pawan,
anyone
I'm
has
not in the group, that target group yet. Did you share any file? Because I have the recording with me of yesterday's class, but have you shared any file which you're working, I mean, right now with us?
the file sharing will start from today, because till
Okay.
yesterday it was all about the
Yeah.
theoretical classes and bringing the data from different sources.
Hmm.
The ETL work has started from today, so we'll be sharing the file from, now onwards. Yeah.
In the target group, you will be sharing?
I'm not sure which group I'm part of. Let me check what it is what it says. It is the, yeah, PB13 target Power BI
Okay.
wellness weekdays, I think. Yeah. That's what. So yeah, this is the group I'll be sharing the files in. Yeah. And one more thing, from tomorrow onwards, the classes will be on the Graphy. So the files and assignments also will be shared in the Graphy portal as well. Okay. I
Oh,
hope you all have registered on the Graphy.
yeah, I do.
What is that?
I'll just show you what it looks like. I hope my screen is visible. Till
Yes.
Let me show you one of the batches. Okay, let's say if I go here, so you'll be having access to, just a second. Yeah, these are the classes that happened. Okay, now let's say we have class which happened on 12th of July, or let's say the 15th of July. You have the recording below it, and you have the description of the content which was covered in that class, and you also will be having one RAR file attached to that class which will contain all the files which I share. Okay, so this is what it will look like to you. Okay, and yeah, the classes will be here as well in the form of recordings, so you can definitely go through them. Okay, so this is what the Graphy portal is. You need to register for that. I think Tanvir has put some message in the group already. So kindly go through that and get yourselves registered to the class. Yeah. Any further doubts, people?
Yes, Pawan. Like in the
Mhm.
last class, you have say like we need to download the SQL things in from MS Store, right?
Look,
So it's something like an paid version.
no, no, no. SQL, not a paid version. See, the thing is, SQL you can download only if you want to perform that getting the data from SQL uh, on your side. Okay, but as far as bringing the data from SQL is concerned, it's nothing but clicking on the SQL server, then entering the server name, database name, and if you want to write any queries there, you can go to advanced options. You can write the query. Okay, that's all it's about. So if you don't want, you need not download the SQL server. Okay, because only for that particular operation it's not needed. However, if you are learning SQL, okay, then you can certainly download the SQL server and also SSMS, that is SQL Server Management Studio, along with that, so that you can work on proper databases as well. Okay, and it's a free software. It's not a paid version, free version only.
Actually, when I checked in MS, my main Microsoft Store, it's showing us some paid versions. Okay, that's not an issue. But if you're,
You
I
do
mean,
one thing. You Google download Microsoft SQL Server,
mhm,
and also the second thing is download uh, SQL Server Management Studio. These two things, and whatever the first result is, you click on that from, of course, Microsoft's official website. There you will have the option to download those, and make sure that you download the 64-bit versions. That's it. Okay.
okay.
Yeah.
So and also you're providing the sample data as well. I mean, maybe
Yeah,
like some
definitely.
proper
Sample
WC
data,
as
I
well.
will be providing whatever data I'm working in the class. I'll be providing that data so that you can work it on your own. And apart from that, I'll be providing you one more data set as well on which the assignments will be asked. So you need to perform certain operational tasks for assignments as well. Yeah, based on that other data set. Okay.
Yeah, thanks, Pawan.
Any further doubts? Okay, then we'll stop the recording first.